Good evening. My name's Wayne. I am the Lone Headbanger, and welcome to Mental Health Wednesdays. So this is a new thing I'm going to be doing. Basically, I'm going to do a recorded video as opposed to my usual live streams, and this is going to end up on my new YouTube channel that I'm starting. It'll be part of my blog that I'm just about to start as well. So there's loads of good things happening at the moment, lots of creative stuff to keep this engaged. So I'm just trying a new format. I will still be doing a live stream every Wednesday night at 8, as things are while I'm still on furlough. So yeah, try and catch me on Facebook at 8 o'clock. So this week what I wanted to talk about is something I've already discussed in my weekly rantings, and it's about music and how music has helped my mental health. Now, just a bit of background on myself for those of you who don't know me. I've struggled with my mental health all my life, ever since I was bullied at school, kicked around. The home life has never been completely stable, and I've struggled with that. As a result, I've struggled a lot with self-esteem issues, especially those kind of things. A lot of self-doubt, and it's culminated in a lot of self-harm and a lot of depression, anxiety, and it's all coming out in various ways. So my aim of this is to kind of be almost not a spokesperson, but like a centre, so people can watch these videos and hopefully find some kind of solace that they aren't the only ones who are struggling. And also, if I can help you with advice for your whatever issues, then that's an added bonus. So that's a little bit about me. So as I say, it's about music. Now obviously I'm into metal and rock in all its flavours and forms, and I was into rock and metal from an early age due to my parents, and it did help get me through a lot of tough times. I started getting into metal proper though once I'd actually left secondary school, and I started going to work, and a couple of my friends were kind of introducing me to the local rock venues, which I didn't even know existed up until this point, as my social life was very different, centred around the so-called trendy clubs, dancing to house and techno music and what have you. But as soon as I discovered rock clubs and started getting more into the music, this is pre-internet, you've got to remember. So once I got into this kind of thing, then music really became my lifeblood, and it has done ever since. So it's really helped me out of a lot of situations. There are particular songs and albums and artists which I'll go into shortly, but generally without my music I don't think I'd actually be here today, if I'm really honest. In the recent years I've also got into the creative side of music, so I've been in several bands. I do play guitar badly. I'm learning drums, and I'm currently doing vocals in another band as well called Awaiting Ends, which we're hoping to get gigging this year. So it is a large part of my life at the moment. So as I said, I'll move on to bands and particular albums and things. So it depends on what mood you're in. I find if I'm in a particular mood, I don't want something to drag me out of it. I prefer to have something that that relates to me. So therefore, if I'm in a bad mood, I want to hear aggressive music, so it feels like I've got someone to bounce off, kind of thing. If you try and bring me calm music when I'm in a bad mood, it just makes me want to rip things up, and that's obviously not the point of it. So if I'm in a bad mood, I will usually start off with something loud and fast and death metal, something say Decapitated, something along those lines, just to get the blood flowing, and then gradually I'll bring it down. So when I say bring it down, I mean bands like, I don't know, from the death metal bring it down to say Devil Driver, the more aggressive Machine Head kind of stuff. I'll start bringing it down to those. I'm not looking for musical wizardry at this point. I'm just looking for some brute force. There are plenty of deathcore bands out there that I haven't discovered yet. I'm a little bit behind the times, but I'm always looking at new music. So that's something that I would do in that situation. If I'm feeling down and depressed, exactly the same thing. I would go to particular bands. So I'd be going for Paradise Lost, Catatonia, My Dying Bride, the classic kind of doomy kind of things, doom and gothic kind of bands. If I'm in a bad mood, a particularly good album that helps me is Threat Signals, Under Reprisal. I'm not sure why that one really gets to me, but it really does, and it kind of pushes the right buttons. Fear Factory's Demanufacture as well is one of my favourite albums of all time, and that really pushes all the buttons, especially as it does gradually go down into the final song, A Therapy for Pain, which is kind of slow pace. So that kind of, brings you down out of that mood. So those two back to back are a real big thing. With regards being in a depressed mood, Catatonia's Tonight's Decision is a bleak album. It's such a bleak album, and it's very much about loss. In my interpretation, it's about loss, and it is so powerful and it's so bleak, but it really grabs hold of you by the heart. It's not uplifting, but if you want a shoulder to cry on, that's a good album to go with. There is another one I turn to as well. In fact, there's two more. One would be the Darkest Days album by Stabbing Westward. It's an album about a downward spiral down into misery, I think, pretty much. There's a couple of upbeat songs, but there aren't many, and it's very much, even the upbeat riffage, the lyrics are very much bleak. So I thoroughly recommend checking that one out. That's Darkest Days by Stabbing Westward. And the other one is Hymn of a Broken Man by Times of Grace. Now, this is one of those one-off albums done by Jesse Leach and Adam Dukowitz from Killswitch Engage, and they have created something here which is almost Killswitch Engage, but not. It's got a lot more feeling. It's like you can tell it's them, but it's a more emotional side, and the songs range from like beautiful soaring stuff like the Forgotten One, which is almost an acoustic. It's an acoustic song, and it really flows and grabs you. And then you've got things like Hope Remains, faster song, but still those piercing, brilliant melodic vocals which really grab hold of you. And it's lifted my spirits plenty of times, especially if I'm heading towards a night out, I'm in a bad mood, put that on my iPod and just let that lift my spirits, and that's always helped me. As I mentioned, I'm in a couple of bands. One is Winter Storm, 2-word version, not the 1-word version. We're on a bit of a hiatus at the moment, so we haven't done much creatively. But the years in Winter Storm have really had me hone my guitar skills. Now, I'm not a great guitarist. I mainly power chords and thrash is my way forward. But my skills have increased just by being in that band, and as a result now I do write a lot of music. I did for my previous band and for my new band as well. I write a lot of the riff work, which is nice. It's nice to get that creative process going and get your emotions out there. Same as my lyrics. I've wanted to do vocals in a band now for such a long time, since my old band called Forge Chaos dissolved, and now I'm starting to do it, and my writing is starting to flow again. I'm starting to get some kind of creative process going. My feelings are coming out on paper, and whether they'll be turned into songs, I don't know, but the fact that they're coming out and they're going onto paper and they're making sense in some kind of poem form, which can be converted into lyrics, and that on what it's kind of a double good thing, because you can then see what you've been going through, but at the same time they can then be used for something practical, which I feel can only be a good thing, that you feel like you've achieved something by using said negative emotions. It's a little bit Lars Ulrich creating, what was it he said, creating aggressive music with no negative emotion. It's like, oh, this is creating aggressive, or not even aggressive, just creating music using that negative emotion in a more productive manner. I recommend that for anyone, even if you can't play guitar, if you can't play instruments at all. Just try writing and write down what's up there, and sometimes just even getting it out on a piece of paper, looking at it. And what my mum actually does is, if she's doing something like that, she will take the piece of paper afterwards, read it, and then burn it, and as a result you're kind of burning those thoughts away. So it's a little therapeutic in that case. So I'm going to leave it there. I think this was, as I said, my first one in this format. I'm going to try and upload this to my YouTube channel once I've got it all set up and running, and I'm going to get the blog on the way as well. More details forthcoming as I start this creative process. But I hope you found this informative. If you have, great. If you want anything else from me, throw me a message. And I'm always looking for feedback, so if there's anything you want to tell me, if you want to tell me to do something else, something different, please let me know, and I shall do my best to accommodate you. But thanks ever so much for watching. It is a rough world out there, so stay safe. I'll see you next time.